Joining me right now to talk about all of this is Michigan Congresswoman on the House Energy and Commerce Committees, Debbie Dingell, a friend of this program. Congresswoman, it's great to see you this morning. Thank you so much for being here. I want to get your take on policy overall, Debbie, from the border to economic policy. But first, you just heard that breaking news from Lee Zeldin, a colleague of yours. What's your take that Lee Zeldin's going to go compete against Andrew Cuomo in the 2022 gubernatorial race in New York?
Honestly, I think he's going to be a very strong, formidable candidate, and New York's governor's race will be very competitive.
Yeah, it's competitive because, look, we're in a state of upset in high tax states where you've got lots of businesses and individuals saying, I'm going to go to a no tax state. You've seen droves of people leave places like California and New York and go to Florida and Texas. Your thoughts on what we're seeing from economic policy, Congresswoman, in terms of these tax increases coming, all of this spending? You've always been moderate and worried about debt and deficits. You've got to have an opinion on all of this trillions that were thrown at the economy.
Well, I got a lot of different opinions. As you talk about New York, New Jersey, California, those with high property taxes, I want to say to all of those states, your elected representatives, whether they're Republican or Democrat, I wish the Republicans had worked a little hard maybe when SALT got put into place, are working very hard to repeal SALT. And I think you will not see them support the infrastructure bill. I know my Democratic colleagues have made it very clear, the ones that are in New York and in New Jersey, that they will not support an infrastructure bill, any kind of tax reform that does not take SALT into account. Now, Maria, I'm going to tell you, there are a lot of CEOs that are saying that, it may be fair to increase the corporate tax structure. Jeff Bezos has said that in the last week. The president's tax plan that passed, let's be honest, within 52 days, President Trump's H.R. 1, which was his tax plan, passed the United States Congress, but it didn't create more jobs. It's resulted in more companies locating overseas, and too many companies, quite frankly, paid zero amount of taxes in the last
Jeff Bezos.
Years. Well, that's accurate. So it's some companies from Michigan. I'm not going to let anybody off the hook. So you've got to have a fairer tax system. So when you have corporate CEOs who are saying, hey, this is fair, I think we got to look at it. But I think a lot of people are having thoughtful conversations. I think this is, there's a lot of fear mongering, but I would like people who are watching this morning to feel reassured that I am hearing thoughtful conversations between Republicans and Democrats about what should happen. Yeah. And I think that Joe Biden is very sincere in saying he wants to hear from both Republicans and Democrats, and nothing would please him more if he could find a way to unite them. Now, it's going to be contentious.
Well, how about just listening to them? How about just listening to them? He said yesterday, look, I'm willing to negotiate on the 28% tax that he is envisioning for the corporate tax. But look, Congresswoman, everything he's done has been by one party, right? I mean, they jammed through this $1.9 trillion spending package that they called COVID with no Republican support. Now there was conversation that they would like to jam through this tax increase, also through reconciliation. You brought up SALT. What do you think your constituents are going to say when they're told you're going to start subsidizing New York and California again because we are going to make the SALT deductible so that New York and California continues to raise taxes and the rest of the country pays for it? Wasn't that the conversation when SALT deduction went away?
I think that this bill is going to be a fair bill that looks at every state across the country. The concepts of it have been laid out. But the details are right now being written. I'm working on a number of parts of this bill that I feel very strongly about. Electric vehicles. You were talking about the Hummer that General Motors unveiled this week. That car isn't going to, or that vehicle, we've got to build the electric vehicle infrastructure to be able to support electric vehicles. And we got to, the grid needs to be upgraded to be able to handle the additional. So there are a lot of things that are going to be in this bill. And I'm going to say something else. I'm going to dare to bring it up. Everybody's having these, what is infrastructure? You know what infrastructure is according to the Webster Dictionary? It's a foundation. It's what glues us together. It's the process that creates a framework. Well, you know what? During COVID this past year, Maria, we've seen a lot of problems in our society, the fractures. And I'm going to tell you, I'd rather say it now than have you attack me down the road. I'm going to be a leader on caregiving, because how many women have had to leave the workforce because they are the caregivers?
Yeah, a lot.
And women and men and women having the ability, ensuring that our children, and I'm the long-term care leader. You don't understand how broken the system is until you're in it.
Well,
so I'm going to fight for it. I'm telling you,
women,
I'm sitting here.
Yeah, no, I think you make a good point. More women have left the workforce than men during this pandemic. Women have really taken the brunt of this because they've got to be home with the kids because schools are not open yet, and that's another boggling the mind one, that the schools are not open. The unions are getting billions and billions of dollars, and they still don't want to go back to work, Congresswoman. I got to get your take on the border, because this is a disaster that is getting worse. Now we hear the sexual assault allegations from this one migrant facility where Greg Abbott is saying, shut it down. Do you think Kamala Harris has a responsibility to visit the border?
I'm going to say this. We have a broken, fractured, fragmented system that President Biden inherited. And I want to make it really clear that the border is still closed.
He made it worse. Can we agree that he made it worse? Debbie, come on. Can we agree that he made it worse? On day one, he walked in and he said, no more wall construction. Huge mistake. On day two, he comes in and he says, overturn remain in Mexico. Big mistake. On day three, he comes in and he says, oh, let's reinstate catch and release. A third big mistake. That created the crisis that we are watching today. Do you disagree?
I've never been a fan of the wall. Don't know what that accomplished. I think I was one of the people that said we need to be very strong in telling people not to come. But the United States has had a policy, and it had that policy under Republican administrations and Democratic administrations. We got to keep our heart and soul that children aren't sent back to unsafe conditions. When I hear this kind of report out of Texas, obviously we are all outraged. We are all concerned. And that situation has to be investigated. The person that's accused of it needs to be put on leave, probably fired if it's true. I still believe that you got to get the facts first. But we got a crisis. We need comprehensive immigration reform. And no, President, we have not, Republicans, Democrats, have never had the ability to come together and address it. And the time is now for us to come up with a comprehensive immigration reform policy and then enforce it.
Well, look, everybody wants to come to America, and for good reason. It's the greatest country in the world. We just hope we can keep it that way. Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, it's always a pleasure. Love seeing you.
Thank you, Maria. It's always good to be with you.
Thank you so much.